Hi, welcome to another exciting show, the Andre the Beast Creighton Show. Another exciting show and another exciting guest. Today, we're talking movie premieres in Indianapolis, the IMAX Theater, Street Angels. Angel, not Angel, Street Angel. And today in the studio, we have two of Indy's prominent producers in the film and entertainment industry. On my left, who do I have on my left?
Well, I am Kristina Battles-Pitts, and I am one of the executive producers on the project. I also did a little location scouting, casting, directing, and more.
and on my opposite side, you recognize the hat, you recognize the smile, and you recognize the face, the one, the only Mr. Lamont Coleman in
Thank
the
you,
house.
bro. What up? I'm Lamont Coleman. I'm one of the executive producers, the writer, the composer, and one of the lead actors in Street Angel.
Let's get right down to it. Street Angels, how did the idea come about?
Well, Lamont, who happens to be my brother, it came up with an idea. He'll tell you how he came up with the idea. Pitched it to me, and I just thought it was a phenomenal idea. It was a wonderful, amazing story behind it, purpose-driven, faith-driven, and I was 100% down to help get this movie created.
Now, she just said something. She said pitched.
Yeah.
What was you doing when this idea came across? Because let's get real. You wear a lot of hats. You're an artist, soon to be publisher. I mean, you done so many things.
Thank you,
and
bro.
all of a sudden you got an idea of a movie called Street Angel. How did all that come about for you?
I was riding in the car, and I just seen the vision. I just seen the movie play before my eyes, and I was like, whoa, I gotta write this down. I gotta capture this. And I just, like, God just gave it to me. And like the Bible says in Habakkuk 2, write the vision, make it plain. That's what I did. And then I had to make sure that my producer is going to want to do it, because they can say no. God can give you a vision, and you might have to have 100 no's. But I got one yes. So I was like, time to go.
So do you always have these revelations when you're driving down the street or doing projects?
All the time. All the time. I always see visions and have dreams and stuff all the time, and I just take them seriously. I feel like that's God's way of communicating art to me, and if I don't listen and do it, somebody else is going to pick it up like a radio station.
So how many times have you had these visions and all of a sudden you take them in and put them into motion pictures or even into lyrics?
Every time, like literally. So right now we have Southern Global, our production company, has 4 scripts, and every single one of them was a vision. So like I'm not even sitting around like, oh, what should I write? It's just like, and I'm like, time to write that.
What made this one different than all your other projects?
A couple different things. So because that's the newest one out of all of them, and what made that different was I felt like we could do it in a short amount of time. I started writing it in September. We started shooting October 24th, and we were wrapped November 2nd, even though we did have pickup days that we ended up doing. But we moved fast, and the whole time it was about speed and efficiency. So, and I knew like when the producers got it, they could put the schedule together around it, and we could move efficiently. All the other ones are just bigger films.
What made you decide to really go all in with this? Because when you're talking executive producer, you're the one that's getting the money together to fund this project. You're the one that he has to he's the one that you have to rely on. He needs to rely on you. What was so special about this that you said, I know this is worth investing my time and money into?
I guess that's an easy question to answer. That's my brother.
Okay.
Like,
if he wasn't your brother and you got this treatment, would you been so gung ho?
I would have still been 100% behind it.
It
Because it has a message. It has a message, and at this age in life, I only want to put God first in everything that I do.
Amen.
So I am always going to ride with something that has a meaning behind it and is just not out here just being too street, too hood,
Right.
too this, too that for me. Like I said, I'm in an age and an era in my life where I want to move purposefully.
Yeah.
So I would have definitely been behind the project. I've read the script. Once I read the script, I was 100% locked in on it because it's something I've never seen before.
What was so eye opening that you never seen before that you said this? You know I'm gonna put you on the
Spoiler
spot.
alert.
Yeah. No, but don't give all of it away. But in general, you know, we know it's spiritually based concept, but there was something more than just you giving your life over to, a spiritual base. What was it about this that said this is a message that people need to know about?
There's miracles in it. There's miracles in the movie. And it's something that's never been done before.
Did you see yourself in the movie?
Yeah.
When did you see yourself in the movie, man?
I literally see
When you
myself
read the script, did you see a little bit of you in there? Because a lot of times when we attach ourselves to something, we see a little bit of ourselves in the creation, because now you're creating this thing. You got to take this and say, how do I make it come alive? Without spoiler alert, what part of that did you see of yourself in this movie?
So I've seen parts of what happened in my life relate to parts in the movie. Like me, I may not see my true self in the movie, but I've seen parts of what I've been through in life in the movie for sure. Yeah. So like I said, it still has an urban base to it. So like you're gonna see a little bit of yourself in the movie, I'm sure.
When you say urban base, for the people that don't understand the terminology, what exactly is urban base?
It means the movie's half hood and half holy. So don't play with us, pray with us.
Amen. I love that.
When you say half hood, what does that actually mean to the people that don't understand that?
Half hood means that for the black community, it's a guy in the movie who came from the hood and he just has been raised in the streets. And
there's miracles.
There's miracles in the movie. And without trying to give too much away, you have to come watch it April 19th.
What was the difficult part about the movie? And I'm talking about not just production, but finance and finding the right characters to portray the story. And the reason that I'm doing this is because people need to understand, at the end of the day, it's a business. It's a business. And I want to take them down that road before we have the actors and the actresses come on, because at the end of the day, this was a funded movie that had to be done correctly to even get to where it's going to feature. So what were some of the struggles that both of you guys had to go through?
I'm going to be honest. I know the struggles that could have happened. You could have had financial problems. We could have had actor problems. We could have had cast egos. We could have had producer discrepancies. We could have had a lot of different things, and none of that was an issue. Like, we didn't have any problems on set. We didn't have any.
Blessed. Everything
went so smooth that I was like, okay. It's like when all the street lights turn green and you running late to something important. It was like God opened up the windows of heaven. It was just, and it's still happening now. So if anything's hard, it's just accepting the divine guidance. It's accepting the blessing, accepting that you are walking on the path that's been lit before the foundation of the world. Like, heaven opened this up. It's going down. Yeah. And the hardest part is being like, yeah, I'm in the moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And not trying to be
and not
too
be
much.
like, walk around with the head so big you can't get through the door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How did you know how to separate? Because when you're doing casting calls for these individual characters, you're going to get a variety of different people. How do you know how to narrow it down to what you just said to make the project smooth?
Well, fortunately, I have seen some of these actors already act in other movies and stuff, and I was actually on set behind the scenes and seeing how things went with them. And once I read the script, it was a no-brainer who I wanted, and I knew
Who can
they
play
had to
it?
be a part of this film. Yes, absolutely. And the rest of them came to the casting calls and just nailed it. Like, it was no other options. Right? I knew exactly who I wanted to go to, and I made all the right decisions.
Yep. And I just trust her too. You got to really trust your team. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to like fake have control, give control, you got to like completely relinquish control and just send trust over there. And that's what I did with her. But I sent it to God first. I said, look, just only surround us with the right people, with the right attitudes, with the right mindset. Like, just only surround us with the right people, please. And that was it. That's been my main prayer as far as like team and crew and cast. And I feel like God heard that and just been protecting us.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the financial aspects of producing a movie like that. What kind of strain is that for you, and how difficult is it to get the funding to have somebody to back a faith-based project? And more importantly, let's call it what it is. Minority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black dollars.
Yeah.
Now, I think it really came easy once I found the right partners for my company, Southern Global. So prior to that, I couldn't get anything, financed because I'm like pitching ideas. But then, I met the Southern Global team, and we just started kind of going over ideas and things that we want to do. And I started sharing a vision with them, like, hey, I really like only want to do things that come from the heart, that have a purpose bigger than me. And that way, I know I can be consistent no matter what. If I'm tired, if I'm having a bad day, no matter what, I can still stay on point for something bigger than me for the purpose. And they loved that, and they was like, cool, we down with that too. So then I was like, okay, well, let's talk about the budget that we can do that in, the different levels and different scales. And then Street Angel just was the perfect guinea pig for our company. That's like, it's bigger than we ever imagined, to the point where we doing 4 more movies this year.
Wow. Let's go here too. And like I said, I'm trying to take the people down the level of entrepreneurship into the screen, because people need to understand everybody can't do this.
No.
You got to have a plan in place to do this. But this is a question I'm pretty sure both of you guys can comment on. Why is it hard for us to get these fundings and get the recognition to be great movies? I mean, Tyler Perry isn't the only one out there doing this. Is there a formula to this?
I think it's a lot of, I was going to say, organization and information. Like, if you want to be in the movie business, you need to learn the movie business. You need to learn professionalism in film. You need to learn the way things go. You learn to carry yourself that way, and also keep studying. Like, I'm a student. I'm a nerd, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we just shared something off camera. The 7.1.
Yeah. Okay. All right. The challenge I had to learn surround sound to put, because our movie's playing in the IMAX,
Right?
And I scored the film in stereo, and that just means it was going to be playing through the front 2 speakers, which is disrespectful in theater to not use the back and the front and everything. So I had to sit up and teach myself how to do surround sound. Yeah, I call mentors and people who really know what they're doing. Whenever I need to learn something new, that's something that we share. Like, always know somebody smarter than you. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Right.
But I think a lot of times the reason why people don't get their films financed or things happen is because they really don't know how to package it, that they don't have it all the way together, or it's just pieces missing, or maybe it's the wrong story. You just really need everything to be lined up, to be aligned, spiritually first, and then let that trickle down into everything you're doing financially.
How do you know if a movie? Now, I'm pretty sure both of you guys get treatments. That's what I call it, a treatment. How do you know if a treatment is going to be successful? And a lot of times, this is what I find out with dealing with people, and you can relate to this. A lot of people have the inability that they hate feedback.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? They hate it. You guys get treatments all the time, and I'm pretty sure you turn a lot of treatments down. How do you do that? How do you determine what's going to actually take off?
I don't think you actually know what's going to take off.
You knew. You jumped on that as soon as he called you on the phone.
Right. I'm gonna jump. Yeah, I'm gonna jump behind it, but you never know you never truly know what's gonna take off. You just have to believe. You just like I said, you just have to have the faith. You have to believe, and as long as you believe and your team believes, like there's nothing that can stop you. Like,
now, was there a project that you ever got involved with? Either one that you thought was going to be? You don't have to mention the project. Maybe you can just say yeah or no. Yeah. And you go, okay, it sounded good. The producer seemed to have everything right, but you saw flaws in it, and he or she didn't take your advice.
Yeah, I mean, I had the bartender reality show that I just knew was going to take off, and we didn't have it all together, and it was a definite learning lesson. Yep. I would do it again, though. I would do it again.
What did you learn from that? Because I think the viewers need to understand you took a chance, but this is something else people need to realize, and I think they need to understand this. You put your own money behind your project. Yeah. A lot of us, won't mention no names, is scared to do that.
No, I did 100%. I learned you can't have too many chiefs. You know what I'm saying?
Was that the pilot that you showed me when we first met? Those girls that was inside the bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Can't have too many chiefs. Can't have too many hands in the pot. That's the basis of what it's a lot of other things behind that, but that'll be a whole nother interview that we have to go through to get all that across. But yeah, I mean, I learned a lot off that project. I would do it again. I feel like I've learned some really important aspects of the business now from doing other feature films and doing this feature film that I can put into that.
What makes this feature film different? You don't have to mention, we know you did other projects, but let's get real. You've put a lot of time and effort in this, and this is something that happened really, really quick. There was and let me go here. A lot of times when there's a sense of urgency, we have to worry about is there going to be a mistake?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So far there hasn't been any mistakes. You got everything in line. So answer that question for me. Like, why this? I'm just throwing you all kind of questions.
So this one brought a whole new level of professionalism.
I like the way you said that. Elaborate on that part real quick.
We just had more people in play who had more experience.
Like that guy named Dreads. What's his name? Dreads?
Yeah, Dreads. Dreads came with professionalism for sure. Yep. Like I said, people had way more experience in this one. I think that the preparation behind it, even though it was a faster process, is because it was better prepared.
I like the way you said that. Damn.
That's it. Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Ooh,
whoa, damn. What?
5 P's, baby.
What was that again?
Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
One more time.
One more time.
Proper preparation prevents poor performance. And that's what it is. It's like, and sometimes God does the preparing and then, prepares you. And that's, I just think that, going back to one of your other questions, the character, one of the ways that I scout people that I'm going to work with and projects that I'm going to do is based off the character. It's not the art, because your talent, your art can take you to a place where your character can't keep you.
Wow.
Yeah, your talent can take you to a place. Oh, he's good. He can do this. She can sing. Okay, you know what? Disloyal, rude, doesn't like feedback, doesn't show up on time. You know what I mean? Doesn't play well with others. Okay? Forget your art then. You know what I mean? And that's for me. That's for all of us.
Damn.
That's the standard. That's the standard. And then, but all that goes away because ego is EGO, edging God out. If we keep God first and don't edge God out, then we'll always be in the flow and things will flow right.
Okay, wait a minute now. Hold on. This is another exciting episode.
Hey, come on, man. You know what we do every time we get together.
Feeling the spirit.
Okay, so I like that. My motto is that beast mindset, but I believe in consistency.
Yeah.
You got to keep doing it. If you fuck up, you keep going. You don't go up under. If you can't go under, you move it. You just keep moving. And I like the way you guys have done this. What has been the stumbling blocks? Because let's get real. There has to be stumbling blocks to some degree. We can't get here and say, it was all easy because just like me and you just shared that 7.0. What I tell you, I had to change the cameras. You know, we got to go 8K now. You know, times change. You got to evolve.
All right. Well, this ain't really a stumbling block because we pivot with positive attitude. But like when you are moving fast, because you was like, when you rush, because rushing is the seed for error. You know, when you're rushing, you will normally make a mistake. But we were actually just kind of moving fast, so it's not really a stumbling block. But we ended up adding 30 more minutes to the film and having a bunch of extra shoot days. And what it was, it just actually made us like fall in love with our crew more because we saw everybody just had a good attitude and mindset, and they just showed up every time. Hey, we need you to do one more scene. Okay, well, one more was divided by 6. You know what I mean? So it's like show up again. Everybody just kept doing it, and then we finally got. We was like, yo, this is a family.
Well, how much alteration had to go into adding 30 minutes into a story that was already done?
And see, I gotta just take my hat off to our director, Samuel Rockstar Rafford, because a lot of the alteration and the extra story was his vision. Once he started editing, he was like, "Hey man, bro, I think we need this. I think we need that." And I prayed. I said, "God, anybody bring a good idea to me, I'm doing it. So if you don't want me to do it, because my answer is yes."
Didn't I bring an idea to you?
It wasn't good.
Okay, we gonna save that one. That's a cut. That's a cut. Yeah, because what I was bringing to the table wasn't the face-based line that needed to be in that.
Oh, that line.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta talk about that.
But how does that? When he had to add the 30 minutes into the film, did you look at it as divine? You know, because now he's able to tell maybe a part of that 30-minute cut that now made a bigger impact through the whole entire movie.
It just made it better. And I realized I was like, every time I listen, if it sounds like a good idea and I listen and I do it, instead of thinking about like, should I do it? Maybe it's fine. Like, oh, I like that. I'm doing it. You know what I mean? I just have that like soldier mindset. It just always looked better or sound better. It was always better. So I was just like.
And he's like a creative. So like everything that he added to the movie at the end was needed. Like we didn't even realize how much it was needed. But he also sits and watches it and rewatches it. We're doing the editing and everything else that he has to do. So it was just like he knew what element was missing, and he's a very smart man. So we definitely trusted him with his vision.
Let's talk about some of the characters real quick before we wrap up. Why'd you pick them, and what did they bring to the movie itself? You can name about a few of them without all of them. Like, who were some of the main characters that really took it to the next level for you guys?
So Swisher, who plays Marcus, the lead, I'd seen him when I was writing it. So I was like, okay, I was writing for him, you know, with him in mind. And then with Dreads, Richard, I'd seen him as I kept going and writing it. So I already knew these two dudes are going to kill it. You know what I'm saying? And then when I seen Symphony and she auditioned, I was like,
what's her name?
Symphony. Like American Symphony Orchestra.
That's a beautiful name.
It is.
I'm going to change my name.
Woman too.
I'm going to change my name. You know that, right?
You know what?
Animal.
Don't do that.
Do not.
See, that's another good. See, I'm on your side when it's good.
All the bad ideas.
Hey, we gonna
Today
work on
is
that.
Today.
You gotta let God give you ideas, man. That's what I do. My ideas ain't good either.
So let's go back to this beautiful lady's name. Symphony.
Yeah.
Why her?
You know what? Her character had to come with a certain confidence and elegance, and she just embodied that. It was effortless, and I was like, cool, because when actors are trying and they're pushing, it just looks inauthentic.
Yeah.
So everybody that we picked was based on authenticity.
It was raw.
Yep.
Really? And who else? Give me somebody else.
Yep. I mean, like you said, Elisha. She's one of the lead girls, and she's really raw and authentic, and just like.
When you say raw and authentic, what is that? Everybody, there's a lot of people that raw and authentic.
That edge she has just comes supernatural. She like once we say action, it's just like she just snaps into this character where she is 100% like a ride or die type.
Yeah.
Also street, but also really poised and just like,
hey, what's her name again?
Everything. I can't think of the words that I want to say
Sophisticato.
right now. Sophisticato, okay. But she's that ride or die girl. Like she embodied it. She just gives it.
Okay.
And I'm very happy with that pick. That was, Alicia is amazing.
We talked about two of the women, but let's talk about a guy. Some of the guys. You got a lot of guys in this movie, but who are some of the main characters and why you pick them and what do they bring to the set?
One of the unexpected characters was Rashard Tyson. And he's also a director of like Zuri Johnson and some other films, Asphyxia. He came on board last minute, ended up like becoming much more than just an extra character. And he just embodied that part so much we had to keep writing him in.
Really?
Yeah, like bro he's just a great cop.
Yeah.
Because he runs the new Channel 27 News in Marion, Indiana. So he has this like reporter kind of like serious, matter of factness about himself.
Kind of militant.
That's real. Kind of militant detective energy.
Right.
So he just bodied that, and that was unexpected.
Yeah.
My last questions, a couple last questions before we wrap up. Why the name Street Angel?
Well,
we talked about that.
Yeah, because the movie had another name, but I can't say because it's kind of a spoiler, right?
Okay.
But that name wasn't as good, and Street Angel to me just was like straight up the middle. Like this is what the movie is, in a sense. So,
what did you think about the name?
I thought the name was super dope.
Did you question anything that he done?
Yeah, we had some side conversations about
what were some of the side conversations without giving all of
the
it
music? Away? One of them, she made me change the music. It's one scene I changed the music 2-3 times.
Really? Why did you make him change it?
They ain't like it
because it was giving like 80s like
Superfly.
Don't say that.
Okay.
Just no. I know what she gonna say. She gonna say.
Yeah, but it just wasn't giving.
It wasn't.
He get into this mode because he was doing other composing and doing sound design on other movies too.
Yeah.
So I felt like he was kind of stuck in one mode that they asked for.
You wanted him
it's
to
called
chill.
Cross-pollinate. That was cross-pollinate.
There you go.
You know what I mean? You got to disengage from one project.
Yes.
Come in pure and back on the same energy because otherwise you cross-pollinate.
Yeah, that's exactly.
When is the movie coming out? Where can they see it? How many showings? Give us some information about the movie itself.
All right, so the movie is coming out April 19th here in Indianapolis at the IMAX Theater downtown. We have a 4 o'clock red carpet. 5 o'clock is the first showtime for the first showing of the movie. And then a 6 o'clock red carpet. Second showtime is 7 p.m. So we would love to have you out. You can bring your family. You can bring your church family. You can bring your community groups and everything. Like we said, there is a message and a purpose behind this movie. And this is not the end.
Before we wrap up, first of all, let me say thanks for taking time out to come on the show. And,
thanks for having us, bro.
And so,
your voice just gets so deep. Like, what happened?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Barry White's cousin.
You just switched that up quick.
Look, I'm trying to get a role in the next movie, man. So, Lamont, you got a lot of things going on. But before we wrap up, we love playing your music on IMB's radio station. What's next for you?
We're doing a soundtrack to Street Angel, and it's already amazing. When you watch the movie on April 19th at IMAX Theater, you can hear some of the songs that's in there. They're going to be coming through surround sound at the 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock show. And then we're doing a soundtrack to that's going to be amazing. And then we're doing 4 other films. So just be on the lookout. If you want to be an actor, we will be casting. Chrissy's a casting person. Don't hit me. And it's going to be great.
How can the viewers reach out to you and to you? Like you said, you guys are movie producers. You also do music. You do all kind of things. How can the viewers reach out to you, and how can they reach out to you?
So you can reach out to me at indieglobalcasting@gmail.com. We also have a Street Angel movie page on Facebook and Instagram.
Yep, Street Angel movie on Instagram and Facebook. Tap in with us there, and That's it.
How can they reach out to you? Because you do more than just movies.
Yeah, so you can just follow me and reach out to me on Lamont Coleman Music on Instagram and Lamont Coleman on Facebook.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you watch the premiere, show up, support our local artists. That's what it's about, supporting our local artists. And click that button. All it takes is one click of a button to make a difference in somebody's life as well as changing somebody else's. This has been another, and I do mean another exciting episode of the Andre the Beast Creighton Show.